From the studios of the Richmond Register, it's this week's edition of the Richmond Register Sports Show. Every Thursday night at 9 o'clock, Richmond Register Sports Editor Nathan Hutchinson and Richmond Register Sports Writer Ricky Barker will talk about this week in Madison County sports. Welcome to the show.
The Richmond Register Sports Show is brought to you by Nuevo Vallarta, a neighborhood restaurant with indoor and patio seating, a family-friendly environment, and quality, authentic Mexican food at reasonable prices. Nuevo Vallarta.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Richmond Register alongside sports writer Ricky Barker. I'm sports editor Nathan Hutchinson. How you doing, Ricky?
I'm doing good.
All right. Well, we're back for another exciting week. Looking forward to another big week here. We had lots of action, mostly basketball action to report on. Obviously, this time of year, it's about what's going on besides maybe a little wrestling and a little swimming, but lots of action. We have a special guest tonight as well. Our good friend Austin Newton, the head coach of the Madison Southern boys basketball team, will be here, and he's brought along with him Trent, Moberly, and Colby, Sebastian.
Yes.
Two kids you're pretty familiar with.
Yeah, both seniors on the Madison Southern basketball team. Great. Yeah, good to talk to them.
You cover a lot of their games, so
I do.
You're pretty good buddies with most of those kids.
Yeah, I am.
Well,
I cover a lot of them in football and baseball, too. A lot of them play other sports. Samuel Lee plays soccer, so I see them all year round.
Yeah, that's a senior group of kids that are pretty tight, and they play a lot of different sports together. Like some play football together and baseball together, and so they're a pretty good tight unit. So looking forward to talking to those guys here in a little bit. But last week we had EKU men's basketball coach A.W. Hamilton on, and they had a great weekend. It was two exciting.
Come back.
Yeah.
That was the good luck charm. That's the mojo. Come back.
Exactly. Yeah. Two big games over at McBrayer last week, and two big wins to move them to 3-1 in the league for the first time since 2015. Beat EIU 77-74 on Thursday, and then a really exciting game on Saturday. Won 78-72 over SIUE, Southern Illinois University Edwardsville. And like I said, it was a big weekend for those guys. They were 1-1 after the first weekend, and to start the year with the first four home games against teams that really weren't considered, favorites in the league. It was definitely a time they needed to get some wins and get off to a good start to the conference play.
They definitely did, and that was just all that this discussion was this week was just taking full advantage, because last year they were on the road when they started and kind of dug a hole. So they're like, this year we gotta sink our teeth in and really get off on a strong start. So, and they did. Yeah,
0-4 last year in that four-game road trip that started with the Nashville swing, and so 3-1 is a lot better than 4 and 0-4. So
no one on that team had been 3-1. So no current colonel on the roster had been 3-1. So it's a big deal, like Lachlan Anderson said.
Yeah. It's very interesting, too, because Jamar Brown is not in the starting lineup for either game.
Neither is Lachlan Anderson.
But he ends up scoring, averaging 22 points a game for the week, and is named the OVC Player of the Week by College Sports Madness. So I guess it's kind of a misnomer that he didn't start, though, because the SIUE game, he came in almost immediately. Hobbs got hurt, and he came in just like 30 seconds into the game. But not in the starting lineup, but still averaged 22 points a game and really helped him pick up that big win. The EIU game on Thursday, they were up by 18 points, and they let it slip away, and it got kind of hairy there for a while.
It did, they kind of come back on them, but I mean, they were able to dig in deep and were able to make some crucial shots and some crucial free throws and came out with a win. Jamaro got 24 points, and Ty Taylor had 17 points for that game.
Yeah. And on Saturday against SIUE, they were actually down 42-40 at halftime, but came charging back, had 4 players in double figures that night as well. Brown had 20, Michael Marino with 14 points and 8 rebounds, and your buddy Lachlan Anderson with 14 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 huge dunks. Even though he did get teed up on one of them for hanging on the rim, but
he came, but it was so funny because he got that technical for hanging on the rim. He goes, gets a steal, and then comes back, dunks it again, and it's just like this real quick. But the fans lost their mind. It was so awesome.
Yeah, he pulled up on the rim though. He pulled his knees almost all the way up to the rim, so he deserved the technical, but it was okay. He more than made up for it. Oh
gosh, yeah.
And Lachlan's great. He just brings so much energy to that team, and just if he's not hitting a three, he's scrapping, getting a rebound, fighting on the floor, and especially those fans in the courtside seats just love him.
Gosh, yeah.
They really do. But and Trey King had 12 points against SIUE as well. Like I said, open up with 4 straight home games in conference play, and now you got to go on the road for 4 straight home games, including the tough Nashville trip, at Belmont tonight, and then TSU on Saturday. So
it's a late game too.
Yep. That's in the Central Time Zone, so they're 9 o'clock games out there. So that'll be on as we premiere. So you can watch that and then watch us later if you want. It's always on YouTube. You can go back and watch it later if you want to. And also on Saturday, when the men were picking up a big win, the EKU women finally snapped that 25-game OVC losing streak. They had not won an OVC game since February 10th of 2018 when they beat Moorhead State. But it was just great for those kids. I know it's been a long time, and unfortunately, a lot of those losses were not even close. I mean, a lot of them, especially like on Thursday, they lost to EIU
83-63.
Yeah, so it was a 20-point loss there. So Terry Goodluck comes back from suspension. She was out for an undisclosed violation of team rules. We never really found out what that was, but she was back, hit a big shot late that was turned out to be one of the biggest baskets of the game. She ended up with 13 points. And
De'Ara Davis had 12 points and 9 rebounds, and Ilea Green had 12 points and was also the OVC Newcomer of the Week. So.
Yep, she had a great week. So they are now 1-3 in the league, so hopefully better things to come. But they also have to make the Nashville trip this weekend as well. Belmont on Thursday and Tennessee State on Saturday. So Belmont, always tough, men and women, both sides of the league. They're always one of the top teams. So. That's a tough one. Even though with the men's side, we talked about it last week, Belmont has already lost a home game this year. They lost to SIUE at home, so not invincible. So we'll see if the boys can go down there and come up with a big win. That would be huge. They're sitting there in second place right now, so they're right in the middle of the fight. So, but 18-game conference schedule. There's a long way to go.
I'm so happy for the women, though, to have those 4 home games and to get one, not to go down and be 0-4 to start the conference play. So I'm glad they were able to snap that streak. So.
Yeah, and that was a good game too Saturday, right down to just battling back and forth, and but they were able to pull it out at the end there. Like I said, thank goodness for Terry Goodluck being back. Yeah. So. We jump into high school basketball now. We had one district game last week, and it involved our guests, the Madison Southern Eagles, went down to Berea to play the Pirates on a doubleheader night down there. And holy cow, they couldn't stuff any more people into that building if they wanted to.
I think the fire marshal was really worried about it. Standing room only. And they just anybody that could boost up against the wall or whatever, they were there. It was hot in that gym, but electric atmosphere. Yeah. Oh, it was so much fun. Both the student sections were going at it, and it was fun. And
it looked like Berea was going to win. We actually had to go back and look at the Berea had not beaten Southern since 2011, and
they had a very large lead going in.
Yeah, but the Eagles were able to come back and finish it out. They won 64-52. They go to 2-0 in the district. They did beat Model last week as well, so the only 2 district games they play in the regular season, they went to 2-0. So Nate Turner had 16 points and 10 rebounds. Sam Lee with 14 points. Chad Fugit, Colby Sebastian, and Hunter Buchanan all had 9 points each. Unfortunately, they followed up that with a matchup with East Jessamine on Tuesday over in Berea, and you were there, and led for most of the game and ended up taking a 66-65 loss.
Right. They went on top. I mean, they came out and just blasted them on a big run and were able to hold on. But right at the very end, 5 minutes to go, East Jessamine, McNew, one of their players, a great shooter, had a lot of threes. Just kind of came alive and kept him in the game.
He hit 7, didn't he?
Yeah.
He hit 7 threes, yeah.
Yeah, a lot. And unfortunately, Colby Sebastian, who's kind of like their motor on defense, he was defending them, and he fouled out in the third quarter, so kind of left McNew a little bit open to do some damage, and they did. But they fought down to the wire. I mean, it was last second to try and get it back, and they had the lead, but it's just how it is when it comes down to when you have that short a time and that short of a lead on somebody.
Yep. Yeah, well, that drops them to 8-7 on the season. They'll be back at home Friday night against Garrett County. The Model Patriots, they had a couple of games this week. Actually, on Friday night, they had a home game against West Jessamine, which was kind of a special occasion because the first-year coach, John Morgerson from Model, he was an assistant under Damon Kelly at West Jessamine, so kind of a reunion there, and he got to go against his former mentor, and the kids evidently were up for it. They ran out to like a 10-2 lead. It was a great start for those guys, and looked like they might be able to pull it off. But West just kind of wore them down, came back, and eventually ended up picking up a 56-40 win over there at Model. Bryson Perry had 18 points, Camden Stan 7 points, and Ethan Bailey with 6 points and 7 rebounds. Model played Wednesday night as we were taping this against Frankfurt in the All-A Classic up in Lexington. If they won that game, they would advance to Saturday to the championship game. Check our social media and all that stuff, and we'll get you updated on that. But it was a late game on Wednesday night, so not sure the result of that, but hopefully those guys can pick up. Hopefully they picked up a win and gone on to the final. And,
yeah, I hope so.
That's over at LCA. So Madison Central played a couple of games last week. The boys weren't able to come up with a win. They dropped to 6-10 on the season. Last Saturday they were supposed to play out at Hopkinsville, and then the storms blew in, and they ended up going to Russell County to play a really good Logan County team who's 13-3. And suffered a 74-57 loss. In that game, Cole Brown had 19 points and Braden Ray had 16 points. And then on Tuesday, the old rivalry renewed with Scott County, and they traveled up to Georgetown and were handed a 74-60 loss. Cole Brown had 18 points, and Tayshawn Chenault had a season-high 13 points in that game. They'll be back in action Saturday at home against Great Crossing. It's a 7:30 game on Saturday night, so they'll be back in action. Berea Community Boys, after the loss to Southern on Friday night, played up in the All-A on Monday in the opening round of the All-A, and as Coach Eric Sword said, they laid an egg. I mean, it was just not a good performance, and they took a 63-42 loss against Frankfurt. They had high hopes of winning that thing, and everybody was really disappointed after the game. And I know they really thought they had a chance to go up there and maybe win that tournament. And it was, Frankfurt's team that got to the semifinals of the 11th region last year, so Frankfurt's a good team, but just not a good performance for those guys. And Eric, mentioned that maybe there still was a Southern hangover, and that can happen after such an emotional game like that in front of a big crowd. But Jaden Smith had 14 points, Timmy Thompson had 8 points, and Jalen Dorsey had 6 points and 7 rebounds. They'll be back in action Friday at Evangel Christian. Now, on the girls' side, the hottest team in the county had been the Model Lady Patriots, but really kind of the stunner of the week. They played Tuesday night in the first round of the All-A against Lexington Christian Academy, a team that was 1-11 on the season, and had a 16-point lead, appeared to be just cruising to a win, and it all fell apart, and stunningly suffered a 52-48 loss to LCA. LCA hit 7 of 8 free throws in about the last 40 seconds of the game. I talked to Coach Candace Wells afterwards, and they were really devastated. They've never been to the All-A tournament, the state All-A tournament, and obviously with it being back here at McBrayer, they really wanted to make a run at it this year. And we're 12-2, had won 9 in a row, and they really thought they had a chance to make some noise, and it just didn't happen for whatever reason. They had 36 turnovers in that game. I guess that's a big part of the reason why.
That's not good.
Yeah, but great game from Taylor LeCompte, though, the big post player for them, 17 points, 17 rebounds. Keaton Hall had 12 points, and that was custom made for him too, because if they would have won that game, they would have played tonight in the semifinal against Frankfurt Christian, a team that has no wins on the season. So they really had a nice path to the championship game, but you got to play every one of them. And LCA, despite being 1-11, they're still a good team too. So they
wanted it as well.
Yes, they did. So they will play at home Tuesday night against Danville Christian. Now, Madison Southern girls were back in action a couple times last week. Obviously, they played in the doubleheader on Friday night, the district doubleheader on down there, and a scrappy game, 47-43. They were able to pull out a win over Berea, but that was a close game. And
all the way through. All the way through, it was a close game. Both teams were really battling in that one, so it was fun to watch. But yeah, Eagles won.
Low scoring, but scrappy, and it was. And once again, the crowd got there early. The crowd was there for the girls' game too, and you tweeted out some pictures, and you didn't get there before the start of the girls' game. You weren't going to get a seat. No,
a lot of people didn't. But Samantha Corneliuson had a good night. She had 22 points, and Macy Daniels had 13 points and 8 rebounds.
Samantha's having a great year.
Yeah, she is.
17.9 points a game and 5.2 rebounds a game, and she's already hit 38 three-pointers on the year. So they're having a great time of it so far. And tonight, Thursday night, you'll be there. The great rivalry renewed there too as well. With Madison Central goes down to Madison Southern for a district matchup, and so doesn't matter what the records are or whatever. Those two teams get together. It's
another battle.
It's going to be a battle. So we'll have to see how that one works out. But yeah, that was definitely a scrappy game and just back and forth and.
Someone had asked me at one of the Southern games before they went down to Berea. They're like, "What's it going to be like?" I'm like, "It's going to be a battle." It's like it's going to be, back and forth, and it was. So it was a great game. It was really fun to watch.
Yeah. All right, Madison Central's girls played a couple of games last week as well, and they were not able to come up with a win in either one of those. They dropped to 6-9. They lost to Scott County Friday at home, 68-32, and then they went over to Franklin County Monday night and played the top team right now in the 11th region, Franklin County, and lost 81-40. In the Scott County game, Talia Todd had 8 points and Brianna Beerbaum had 7 points. And in the Franklin County game, Jakari McKeithen had a double-double, 13 points, 13 rebounds. Talia Todd had 10 points in that one. But of course, has been part of the problem most of the year. There are 36 turnovers against Franklin County, and I think they had 36 turnovers, and I think they only attempted 30 field goals. So that's not good when you have more turnovers than shots.
That's a really young team.
Yes, it really is. But they will be back in action, obviously, today against Madison Southern. So that would be a good, sometimes you need a rivalry-type game to kind of get you back on track and get you extra motivated. If you're a little bit down and you're not playing too well, that'll get you hyped up and ready to go. So
definitely,
we know it'll be exciting down there for sure, and probably another big crowd. Like we said, the Southern kids have been showing out this year, and
they have.
They've definitely.
Berea was really doing well too during the Berea games. I mean, they came to all kinds of back and forth going on.
Well, after the loss to Southern on Friday, the Berea girls were back in action the next night, and you want to talk about a hangover? And Coach Stepp told me this the other night. They just 51-19 loss at home to Clay County. They had a couple of kids out with some injuries and stuff, and just absolutely, I guess, worn out from that battle, and
they played hard.
Probably bad scheduling to schedule a game the next night. But that's how it goes. But yeah, 51-19 loss to Clay County. They had to come back Tuesday over at the All-A, and they are the defending 11th Region All-A champs. They won that thing last year, but as we wrote about in the Wednesday paper, though, that's not the same team. I mean, they're only basically one player that was a starter back from the team the year before, between injuries and graduation, and they had a kid transfer. It's just not the same team, and then not to mention it's not the same team. Alexis Newman is now out with an injury. Chesney Lovins was slowed as well, and they had Clark girl and the Maynard girl were both sick and weren't there Tuesday night as well. But all that being said, they still were able to grit out a 37-32 win over Sayre to move them into the semifinals of the 11th Regional All-A. So the defending champs are still alive. They will play Frankfort tonight at 6:15. That'll be a tough one. That's the two teams that played last year in the championship game that went to overtime over in the old gym over at Frankfort High. But in the win over Sayre, Madison Howell had 10 points and 8 rebounds. Chesney Lovins had 7 points and 6 rebounds. Maddie King had 6 points, and Mackenzie Howell had 4 points and 9 rebounds. She loved watching Maddie King.
Yeah,
she's like 4'0", you know.
She's tough.
Maybe 3'0". I mean, she's so small.
Tough.
But she's fearless. She had a big 3 in there, and also got to the basket there late and had a big basket as well. So probably wouldn't have pulled that one out without her. So they are on to the semifinals, and they are now 8-8 on the season. And like I said, big rematch with Frankfort, and then the championship game of that one is also on Saturday. That one's at 2 o'clock over at LCA. So our friends down at Berea College, the Lady Mountaineers, they just keep rolling. That's now 9 straight wins for the Lady Mountaineers. They're 14-2. They're 7-0 in the USA South. First place in the Western Division of the USA South. There's only 2 undefeated teams left in the entire conference. They're 7-0, and Agnes Scott is 6-0. So they are rolling right along. They had, and to make it even sweeter, they went on the road Saturday and they beat their nemesis. They beat Piedmont College. The team had beaten them in the championship game of the tournament the last 2 years, but they went down there and beat them 70-61. And then on Sunday they beat Wesleyan College 80-57. A much easier game down there in Georgia, but against Piedmont, Bailey Vanover, 18 points. Destiny Combs, 15 points, 13 rebounds. Bethany Williams had 15 points off the bench. Brianna Lanham had 10 points. And the amazing thing about that is they go down and beat Piedmont, the 2-time defending conference champions, the fabulous freshman Aaliyah Hampton didn't score. Didn't score. Well, she only played like 4 minutes because of foul trouble.
Right.
They were able to beat one of the top teams in the league without her scoring at all. So
yeah, she's been on fire.
Yeah. Now the next night though, she wasn't in foul trouble, and against Wesleyan she had 28 points and 9 rebounds. So she came right back and was on fire again. And Leah Parker also had 25 points in that game. So once again, the 14-2, 7-0 in the league. They if they win out and if they finish with the best record in the league, they get to host the tournament. So
I know, it's so fun.
The USA South tournament would be at the Seabury Center, so that would be.
I hope so.
That would be very cool. They're back in action Saturday at Brevard. So, and the Berea College men, they're now 7-6 on the year and 3-3 in the league. They're in third place in the USA Southwestern Division. Split a pair of games this past weekend and really could have won both of them. On Saturday, they beat Greensboro, and then on Sunday, they ended up with a 71-65 loss to Averett. And that was a game they were down 12 points at the half and got back within 1 point twice, but just couldn't get over the hump and ended up taking a loss on that one. So that would have probably vaulted them up a couple more spots in the league. But 3-3 in the league, a lot of time to go still. But in the win over Greensboro, Terrell Carter had 23 points and 11 rebounds, and Isaac Cottle had 22 points. And Quay Charlton had 14 points, Andrew Doty had 14 points, and Kavion Hudson had 10 points. In the Averett game, Terrell Carter had 22 points, 5 rebounds. Quay Charlton had 14 points, and Isaac Cottle had 12 points. And they will be back in action Saturday on the road at LaGrange. So that's the week that was. So we got
all basketball.
all basketball. That is very true. Well, we did have some wrestling. The Madison Central wrestling team went to the Spencer County Duels and took first place there as well. And we have some swimming action as well. Both all the local teams were in action Wednesday night after we taped this. So you'll be heading down there to watch some of that as soon as we're done with this.
Yes, I will.
So once again, check our social media and check the RichmondRegister.com and all that type stuff. But that's the place to be if you want to check us out. Anything that happens. If it happens, we're there, and we'll let you know what's happening. So Twitter is the place to be, Richmond R Sports. Facebook as well, Richmond.
At Register Sports.
At Register Sports. I never can remember the Facebook for some reason.
Because it's different.
I've been doing the Twitter for like 10 years now, so it's like the second nature to me. But that's the place to be to keep track of everything. And like we've always said before, we get such great help from all the coaches and everything.
Yes.
We really appreciate everybody getting everything to us. And as soon as we get it, we put it out there and share it with you. And pictures and everything. People love the crowd pictures. Your crowd pictures from Friday night got tons of reaction on social media. Those kids were crazy.
They were awesome. Oh, it was so much fun. It was hot. I'm not going to lie. It was hot. And it was hard to take pictures because there were so many people, but so worth it.
And cheerleaders. There's people in cheerleaders and everything.
The cheerleaders on
not
either
really
side.
Anywhere to stand. So.
Journalism problems.
We make do, though. It's all right. It's all in good fun. We'd much rather there be a full crowd than nobody.
It really helps those players out when the crowd's into it, especially when their peers and the students are all dressed out. I mean, the Southern's so funny sometimes. But yeah, it's really great. I'm glad. But yeah, we'll take more crowd pictures. You keep showing up. We'll put them out there and share them around.
You put like something on a sign. It says like, "Hey, Richmond Register, take my picture."
Yeah,
we'll do that.
Idea. Yeah.
We're shameless promoters here. So we're more than happy for if you take your picture and put it on social media if you say something nice about us. It has to be nice though, not anything bad. But all right, well, we appreciate you guys checking out the show again this week. It's been a lot of fun. We got obviously. We love Austin Newton. Everybody loves Austin Newton.
Oh, God, yeah.
But he'll be here.
He's everyone's best friend.
He's such a likable guy. He really is. I mean, we've known him. I've known him forever, and he's just done such a great job with that program down there.
Yeah,
and he's a lot of fun to be around. So we're looking forward to talking to him here in a minute, and also having Trent Moberly and Colby Sebastian on. I guess Trent will hobble in here with his bad knee.
He's doing good. He's not hobbling. Don't put Trent down like that. He's doing well.
No, we're happy to have him here, and I know obviously it's unfortunate that he had to miss all of his senior season with a knee injury, but he's in good spirits, and the team has rallied around him. And
he's basically another coach.
Yeah, he's sitting right there on the bench, and so he's making the most of it, and he still hopes to play college basketball. He get his knee straightened out and everything, and we're very happy he's here. We appreciate those guys driving up from Berea, and we look forward to talking to them. So we will be right back with Madison Southern basketball coach Austin Newton.
The Richmond Register Sports Show is brought to you by Nuevo Vallarta, a neighborhood restaurant with indoor and patio seating, a family-friendly environment, and quality, authentic Mexican food at reasonable prices. Nuevo Vallarta. Do you want to advertise on the Richmond Register Sports Show? Now you can. Contact us now at sports@richmondregister.com or message us on Facebook today. If it's sports in Madison County, we cover it. Advertise now on the Richmond Register Sports Show in Madison County.
All right, welcome back. We are here with Madison Southern boys basketball coach Austin Newton. Thank you so much for being on the show,
Thank you
Coach.
for having me. Appreciate
I
it.
feel like we've known you forever, man.
Been around for a while now. My hairline shows it too.
Yeah, we were just looking at some of those pictures from the 2005 EKU team. It seems like 1,000 years ago, doesn't it?
It does. And I was telling you did a story on me when I was a senior in college that Travis Ford still uses it to this day to talk to his team about that article and what kind of teammate I was, 'cause I didn't play a lot, so he considered me a pretty good teammate. He still uses that article, so appreciate that article
Cool.
and the picture to show that I did have some hair at some point.
Yeah, we just saw a picture you did. It was pretty thick back then.
It was.
It was kind of red, too.
It was. I shaved it about 3 years ago, and I think I'm to that point again where I'm going to have to shave it maybe this summer. Maybe not, I don't know.
Okay. Well, you may have pulled your hair out a little bit last night. You're obviously on Tuesday night. You had a tough loss over there with East Jessamine. You had a lead for most of the game. They came back on you in a 66-65 loss over there. But tough loss, but that's a good East Jessamine team. It's a learning experience for your guys.
Yeah, East Jessamine's very good. They're very athletic. We got off to a really good start. We the first half offensively was the best offensively we've played in a while. We scored 39 points, and we were just clicking. And then in the second half, they hit some big shots. They had a kid hit 7 threes. And we just couldn't get a rebound and get a stop late in the game to seal the deal. But we had won 4 out of 5 going into that game, and I still feel very good about our team and what we can accomplish the rest of the season.
Yeah, and you guys are 8-7, and you've got a very interesting team to me. It's kind of a scrappy team. I mean, I don't think you have really what you call a superstar. I think Chad Fugit obviously is a heck of a player. But you don't really have a superstar, and you don't really have a lot of size. But you got a lot of scrappy kids that just kind of get after it, and obviously you can shoot the three as well. Yeah,
we do. We have 10 or 11 guys that can play for us on any given night. We're 8-7. There's 2 games, Frederick Douglass and Spencer County, that we were just never really in the game. Other than that, we have had a chance to win the rest of the game. We played Trinity at home earlier in the year and lost to them in overtime. We went to Florida and played really well in Florida. It was a 3-game tournament. We made it to the championship game against a very good Riverdale team out of the Bronx, New York, and it was a high-level basketball game. Just threes going in everywhere. It may have been bad defense, but to me it was good basketball to watch, and we should have won that game. And of course, last night that one hurt. And just go back to the games that we lost. That Estill County, they beat us pretty good, and Estill County's got a very good team, and John Bentley's doing a great job. But every other game we have been in it and had a chance to win it, except for Douglas and Spencer County. So when you play a lot of guys, it's hard to figure out the combination. It's my job as a coach to put the right combination on the court. And I think once we get that combination locked in, we have a chance to finish this season out very strong.
What I think is particularly interesting about your team is you have a lot of seniors on that team that played together for a very, very long time. What's that like on the court and that chemistry there?
It's good. They've played together since Little League, so they know each other very well. Now, with that comes a lot of, back and forth, trash talk. I mean, they've known each other since they're kids, so they know whose girlfriend was who in elementary school, so they're very close, and they really care about each other. And they've been waiting on this year for a long time. Like, it's something they've looked forward to. They want to make this year special, and we're doing everything we can to make it a fun year for them. And it's great to have their leadership. When you got that many seniors on your team, and we're trying to build a program that has a great culture, and if you can have that many guys that are seniors invested, teaching our younger guys, this is how we do things, this is how we operate. It's good for our whole program.
Yeah, when we spoke in the preseason, you said that this was a really good offensive team, and we see that with Chad and Nate Turner and Samuel Lee and Hunter. At any moment, those guys can go off. But what strikes me is that you also kind of have a really good balanced team. Your defense is really, really strong, very fast, and very efficient.
Yeah, so that's been the surprise of the season is our defense. Our defense, I go back to the Douglas game, they scored 80 points, but every other game our defense has been good enough for us to win game. We're holding teams to 60 points or less almost every single game, and we're controlling the tempo. There have been games where we haven't played well offensively this year, and so when we are clicking, when we're making shots, we're a high-level basketball team. And our problem's been when we're not on a particular night, we let that affect how we play defense, how we rebound. And once we can get through that, you know, you're not going to make shots every night like we did against we beat Woodford County really bad, and Woodford County has just gone on a run. They're beating everybody. They beat GRC last night at GRC. Like, they have a good team, but when we put it all together like we did against Woodford County, we are really good. And then when we're not making shots and we let that affect the rest of our game, our defense and our rebound, and then we become a very poor team.
Yeah. You talk about those seniors, and unfortunately before the season even started, you lost one of those seniors, and Trent Moberly had the knee injury, but it's so great that the team has rallied around him. Everybody's playing for him. You're the mob squad now, and so I'm trying to make, I guess, the best of a bad situation. I mean, obviously it's tough for that young man, but everybody, I guess, just has to rally around. And
it's a very tough deal. So Trent's always been a very good, skilled basketball player since I got the job last year. He needed some help with his attitude and his leadership, and he knew it. And he had gotten so much better, and it hurt us all because he was finally starting to figure out how to positively lead his team and just coach the guys, and he was really figuring it out. And he had a chance to play college basketball. He still does if he wants to pursue that. But that's what hurts the most is that he's always been good. Nobody's ever questioned his skill set and all that, but he was mentally trying to do the right things and trying to lead, and that's what hurts the most. But our guys have rallied around him. I've actually got the Mob Squad shirt on underneath here that we had printed up, and when I've worn this shirt as a coach, we're undefeated. So we're hoping there's some good luck. Yeah, I know. I don't know why I don't wear it every game, but we're gonna start maybe wearing it more. But it's been fun to watch the guys rally around him because they know how much he cares. Again, they grew up together, so he's a big part of what we do, and he helps me as a coach. He's on the bench. He's a very good offensive mind, so he'll even say things during the game or at halftime like, "Hey, we need to look at this." So I'd rather have him out there on the court, but it's been nice having him help us coach.
Yeah, and one young man who will be playing college basketball next year is Chad Fugit. He's had a tremendous senior year. Looking at 19 points a game, 37 threes on this season, so he's having a tremendous year. Talk a little bit about him.
Yeah, Chad is a high-level shooter, so I've said it before, he's one of the best standstill shooters I've ever seen in my life. As far as you go into a gym and you just throw him a ball and when he gets his feet set and he's open, he's going to make it. I mean, you can just count it. So I got to do a better job as a coach putting him in those situations where he's got nobody around him and he's standing still because he's going to make it every single time. But Chad he's a phenomenal young man. I wish he would talk more, but he never complains. He just does his job every single day. He's a very good scorer around the basket. He's going to be a very good player at Asbury.
Yeah, 84% free throw shooter, which is 16th in the state right now as well.
He was top 15, I think, last year in free throw, and he's still up there, like you said. He's a big time shooter.
Yeah, and a kid that maybe was a surprise. I know you've written about him in some of the stories, but Nate Turner is a kid that maybe people didn't expect, 10 points a game out of, but you've been complimentary of him and how he just works hard and just does whatever needs to be done and has become a very productive member of this team.
Yeah, so Nate got literally zero we tried to play him in a game last year against Cordia, and we forgot to put him in the book to start the game. So I put him in and we get a technical, and I took him out and I didn't play him for the rest of the year. So he had zero varsity experience going into this year other than getting checked in and getting a technical and coming out. And so that was my fault. But he is a very skilled big guy. He can step out and shoot it. He can score in the paint. He can pass. Like, he is going to have a very good career. He's a very skilled basketball player, and he has really stepped up with not having any varsity experience, and he's just been thrown into the fire, and he's responded really well. He played great in Florida. He played well early in the season. He was still trying to catch up with the pace of the game, but in Florida, those 3 games, he really caught on and was tough and aggressive, and it's carried over to when we returned from Florida.
I've been able to see his confidence from that first game to even last night, where you can just tell he gets the ball and you can see it in his face. Like, I know what to do, I know where to go, and it's really cool to see that. Such a short growth in there. Right, and he has a scorer's mentality, and I don't know if Trent was with us, if he would even got that opportunity. And that goes back to us having so many guys that I trust that can play on this team, and having a lot of seniors, and so. It hurts not having Trent. Like, if we had Trent, we would be so much better. But we would have probably never known about Nate Turner until next year, and that's just having a lot of guys.
Yeah, I mean, those 2 are the only 2 double-digit figure guys you have. But I mean, Britton Robinson and Hunter Buchanan and Jonah Wooten and Samuel Lee, and you've got so many guys who can contribute offensively and defensively.
Exactly, and Chad, we can always count on Chad scoring, and Nate's becoming that scorer. And there'll be games where Sammy Lee has 17, or Jonah Wooten has 15, or Hunter Buchanan gets hot and he hits 6 threes in a game. That's great to have as a coach, those options. We just got to be more consistent in who those options are and know where our scoring's coming from. But at any given second, any of those guys can come in and get hot and score. And so that's great to have as a coach, to have that many options.
Yeah, 108 threes so far this year. You guys can definitely light it up from the outside.
We take a lot. We take a lot of threes. And my philosophy as a coach, and I took this from Coach Neubauer, who I work for, is that we like wide open layups and wide open threes. I think the study in basketball is a lot of times the mid-range shot is not a very high percentage shot. And if 3 obviously counts more than 2. So if we can get an open look from 3 and we work on it and we practice it and we can make them, that's a high percentage shot for our offense.
Okay. Talk a little bit more about the trip to Florida. I mean, especially for those seniors and what that meant for all those guys to have that experience.
Yeah. So we stayed in Boca Raton, Florida, and the weather was perfect. It was beautiful. It was a tournament called the Rock Holiday Classic, and a guy named Danny Haney that used to be the coach at Lexington Catholic, he's actually the one that invited us to it. And it was the right level of competition. I'm not saying the teams were great, but they were perfect level. The team we played in the championship game was a really good team out of the Bronx, New York. And the best part about it was we had 70 fans from parents and families and friends that came to support us. And it was a small gym. We played at North Broward Prep School down there, and the gym was really small, but our fans were tremendous. Even the opposing teams were like, "Is this how y'all do it in Kentucky?" And we were like, "Yeah." I mean, it felt like Big Blue Nation had come taking over the gym, but it was really special to just kind of make a tournament run during the middle of your season, and you got to win 3 games to win a regional championship. So we kind of played that card like, "Hey, this is what you got to do. Here's 3 games, and let's go get it." And we had a chance. The game was tied in the championship game, and 20 seconds we held for the last shot, and we got a good look and ended up getting beaten overtime. But I think we'll look back at it, and I know we went to the beach and played putt-putt and did go-karts and did all the things that you do in Florida, and they'll remember it for the rest of their lives. It was a good experience, but we played some good basketball, and I think it'll help us just being in that tournament atmosphere down the stretch.
You know what Wayne says, sun's out, guns out.
Sun's out, guns out.
That's right.
We actually left Wayne on the beach. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. We told Wayne the bus was leaving at 11:30, so we got on the bus, and we got about halfway down the road, and somebody said, "Where's Wayne?" Evidently, he told my wife that he was going to take a walk down the beach, and then we had a dad of one of our players send us a picture and said, "Y'all forgot somebody," and so we had to go back and get Wayne.
Well, you talk about the fans that came.
I don't think he minded it.
He probably didn't even notice. He was just having a good time.
He said he enjoyed it.
Yeah. Wayne had a big time.
When you talk about fans and your student sections so far this year, man, have been tremendous. I mean,
the games are so much fun.
Yeah, the game over at Berea the other night was just totally packed. Of course, Berea had a great student section as well, so just shout out to those guys as well. But
absolutely,
your kids come out and support the team, man. It's
they
crazy.
do.
The Trinity game was electric.
It was, and we made a switch this year. We moved our bench from one side of the court to the other, and we went back and forth with the administration about who should we put behind whose bench and where should the band go and all that. And then we finally made a decision. I said, let's just put our students behind our bench and see what happens. And the first few games we gave away a flat screen TV one night. We gave away an Xbox. Like, we've given them some incentive to come, and they showed up in a big way. That Trinity game was one of the best atmospheres that I've ever been a part of. And they've kept coming back. Like, it just wasn't, let's go watch them play Trinity. It's a deal now. Like, every time we have a home game, our pep club's on Twitter saying this is the theme, and they're really bought in. And it's great having them behind the bench. I remember during the Trinity game, I called a 30-second timeout, and I had like 7 students in the huddle with us, and I'm like looking around like, what is going on?
Where are you doing?
Where they come from? But they help our energy of our bench and our team, so it's great having them there to support us.
Yeah. One other big thing that you guys do is obviously you've kind of obviously taken on the role of not just coach but mentor, and you've become really active with charities. You help with Jared's Joy Card, and you do the Man Up Monday thing. So we're going to talk about those things you do with the kids, kind of the personal growth things.
Yeah, so Man Up Monday was something we started. I was actually scrolling Facebook one night during the summer. I saw this football coach from Texas. He called it Manly Monday. He was under a car changing a tire, and he had his whole team sitting there watching him how to change a tire. And I was like, man, what an awesome idea to just teach high school kids, how to do certain manly skills. So I kind of tweaked it and just called it Man Up Monday, and we started it, and the guys have a great time with it. And I tell everybody this, it's a lot more for me than it is for them, because my wife will tell you, I don't know how to do anything. Like, I know basketball and sports, but other than that, I can't make a peanut butter jelly sandwich. And so we've learned a lot. Like, we've learned how to cook, we've learned how to tie a tie, we've learned how to change a tire, change the oil in the car. This past Monday, we had an officer from Lexington come teach us the proper way to act if you get pulled over by a policeman. And we did a simulation where our guys actually pulled somebody over, and they got to be the policeman. So it's a lot of fun, number one, but it's also things that you can't get, like, that I didn't get in high school or college, and it's good for them to have.
Yeah. All right, well, you got a tough schedule coming up here. You got Garrett County at home on Friday night. Then Saturday you're playing a tough Logan County team that beat Central the other night, last Saturday as well. And then next week you're over at Montgomery County. So it's a tough little stretch coming up here for you.
It is a tough stretch. We're 8-7. We're halfway through our season. We got Garrett County Friday night. Garrett County has a very good player that had an injury, and he's back now. And then Logan County, I've seen Central's film on them, and they're very athletic. They got 2 transfers in. They are a really good basketball team, so we're going to have our hands full. And then got to go to Montgomery County on Tuesday, and then to Somerset next Friday. So tough couple weeks. I do believe in my team. I like where we're at. We've had a lot of games this year not go our way in the last 2 or 3 minutes. So hopefully in a season, you have some of those games, but I think there's going to be a time here in the near future where some of those close games turn in our favor.
All right. Well, we appreciate you being here.
All right. Thank you, guys.
We wish you the best of luck the rest of the year, and we look forward to the district tournament not too far away. That's always an electric atmosphere over there, too. And I know you guys didn't play Central in the regular season, so I know a lot of people hoping that maybe they'll see that matchup over there as well. That's always a good rivalry.
That's right.
You and Alan renewing friendship, right?
That's right. Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate you being here. Best of luck to you the rest of the season, and we'll be right back with Trent Moberly and Colby Sebastian.
The Richmond Register Sports Show is brought to you by Nuevo Vallarta, a neighborhood restaurant with indoor and patio seating, a family-friendly environment, and quality, authentic Mexican food at reasonable prices. Nuevo Vallarta.
Welcome back. We're here with Madison Southern basketball players Trent Moberly and Colby Sebastian. Thanks for being here, guys.
No problem.
All right, so they're coming off of a very heartbreaking loss the other night. So kind of take me through that game. You had a lead for a very long time, and then they came back on you. So talk me through that.
So we had a lead, and I mean, we was playing good. We was scoring the ball good, but they was shooting really good. They had a lot of three-point shooters, and we struggled getting rebounds as well. They had 17 points off offensive rebounds, and that really hurt us too.
But and you actually fouled out, though.
Yeah.
You picked up those fouls.
I fouled out early, actually, like fourth quarter with like 4 minutes
I think it
left.
was actually like the third quarter with 4 minutes left.
Oh,
There was a lot of time left. I'm not going to say it lost us the game, but
yeah.
Colby was doing good defensively,
Yeah, he
and the number 12 on the other team, I'll forget his name, he was 7 for 10 from the three-point line.
Yeah.
And that really hurt us because he was knocking them down, and it just changed the game in the second half, I believe.
But I mean, you guys fought. I mean, you took it down
it's still
to
a
the
good
wire.
game.
Yeah.
Still a good game.
Coach and I were discussing that you guys hadn't really, you've been in overtime games, but you hadn't been in a situation where it was like last second shot. So what do you guys take from that?
Yeah, we got to get better at like scoring when it's like down to the wire and stuff. But it was our first game like that, so we'll get better at it. And Coach Newton will have something draw up nice for us, so we'll be better for that.
I believe the same thing. I mean, I was sitting there, I honestly didn't even listen to the last play. I just want to be surprised. I just kind of walked away from the huddle and just like, what's going to happen right here?
I saw that,
And, I mean, it happens. At least it happened right now and not February. I'd rather it happened right now.
Right. So you're in an interesting position. You're kind of like the second coach over there because of the injury from the start of the season. So
yeah, we get the ball, and sometimes I'll yell at a play, and if he yells it out, I'm like, all right, this has to work, or I'm gonna look bad. I was 2 for 2 last night, so we scored both times. I yelled some play out, and he called it. So I mean, I guess I'm doing all right. I don't know what else really to do. Just encourage people, don't let them get down, make sure they're paying attention to the game, because sitting there watching is about just important out there playing, because if you can watch it and know what's going on, then you can figure out what to do once you get in there.
now, as a senior, what's that transition kind of been like from kind of going to the court?
A few months ago, I never thought I'd just be sitting there watching the game, or unless I was fouled out or something. You know, I feel like I was going to be playing 32 minutes a game unless I was fouled out or in foul trouble. So it's kind of hard, but I mean, things happen for a reason, so I'm not really, stressing it, or it's not hurting me that bad, honestly. But
well, your team has done something really special for you. I mean, they're the Mob Squad, and just the support from them. What's that kind of been like? Hunter Buchanan wore your jersey for the first 2 games.
Yeah, I let him. It was surprising because he asked me, and I was like, yeah, of course. And at first, I was like, he better play good. But I was thinking all this. First game, I was out. It was that Tuesday I had surgery. I was out of it. I really couldn't watch it. I couldn't listen to it or anything. But he played that Friday night against Trinity, and he didn't play the best, but, I mean, it meant something to me sitting there watching him play with my jersey on, because he knew I couldn't be out there. So, I mean.
Well, a lot of the other seniors that I've talked to are like, we got to do good in honor of you. And, I mean, just what has that been like for you, for your team to kind of circle around you? And
it's meant a lot, honestly, because, I mean, they know that I helped the team a lot. I mean, I played good last year. Hopefully, he was going to play good this year, and it just kind of went downhill. But they've responded well. They've played pretty decent. I mean, they could be better, but they're playing hard. That's all that matters to me, honestly. If they're going out there and playing hard. I mean, it's not always about wins and losses. But.
You got an interesting team. There are a lot of seniors on your team. What's that dynamic like? And a lot of seniors that have played together since elementary school, and I think all of you went to Foley. I don't think there's anybody else that went to another middle school on that team that's a senior. So.
Well, I went to Clark Morris, but I transferred here, but
Chad did too.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we beat them 8th grade year, so it don't really.
Yeah. But, I mean, we're all close. We all hang out. We love each other like brothers, so it's good.
We played AAU for, all elementary school. We were on the same AAU team. So, I mean, we played together, then we kind of split up, and then we came back together. But, I mean, it's last year and going into this year, it was very well, and it's still going pretty good. I mean, can't play, but that don't really matter in the long run. So.
Well, that's got to be kind of interesting to have somebody that you played with for such a long time, and you grew up with them, and you basically know them, like you said, like brothers. that's got to be kind of an interesting dynamic to just be that close to somebody on your team.
It's awesome. It helps, like, just the chemistry and everything. It's good to be so close for so long.
Now, you did not start last year, but, I mean, you were killing it this year.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't play a lot last year, but this summer I really, worked hard. I stayed in the gym. I was just trying because I wanted to play so bad this final year, and I got a shot. Coach didn't put me out there, and I've just been contributing, trying to help the team.
And you're fast.
Yeah.
You're really fun to watch.
He cramps up sometimes, though.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Against Berea, yeah.
I thought he was dying. I got scared for a minute.
That tells you how fast. I mean, it was like 3 times, you had to go out because you were just dying from the cramps. But it's just you're always moving. And we were talking to Coach about how great offensively the Eagles are, but the defense is also strong, and a lot of that's to you. To your credit, you're just all over everybody.
Yeah.
What's that kind of like? I mean, you got to have a lot of endurance for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, Coach Newton put us through a lot of conditioning through the summer, and I just try to stay 100%, be a pest, and get a lot of steals, and just be active all the time.
You've got some great shooters on your team. I think Chad's doing well, Nate's doing well, and at any time you have Hunter and Samuel Lee and pretty much anybody.
Yeah.
Walt hit a 3 last
Walt hit a
night.
3, and he just looked at me. He's like, I was like, if you shoot it more, I mean, you just got to shoot it more. I mean, don't be scared to shoot it, and you can hit more. The more you shoot, the more you're going to make.
I think it surprised him, honestly, because I think in that play he didn't expect to have the ball, and then as the clock was turned out, he was like, well.
Yeah, he's wide open. Just pull it. I mean, there's nothing else you can do.
But to kind of have that in your back pocket, I mean, is that something that you guys knew coming in, that these guys are just going to be able to light it up, or is that something that was put an emphasis on in the summertime? Or?
I mean, I knew Chad, he was in the gym. He was in the gym like crazy. He was going to Wilmore to open gym with Asbury and them. I knew he was going to light it up because he didn't stop shooting. Hunter, he's always been a shooter. He could be better, but, I mean, when he needs a shot, we need him to hit a shot, he'll hit it. Samuel used to be really good in middle school, and then he's really good at soccer too. So it's hard for him to transition to get his shot going. It's usually like mid-season before he's hitting. And last night he was shooting really well. I'm glad he's finally shooting it a lot because he hadn't shot a lot before then, and he just couldn't get going. But now he's starting to get going, and it's going to help us a lot.
Yeah, talk about Nate too. Nate's kind of had to be thrown into the fire, kind of. Fill your shoes, Trent, but he's doing a pretty good job.
I wouldn't want anybody else in there. He's doing a great job. He kind of plays like me. He's a little bit slower, but I mean, I think as he progresses, as he gets older, he might slim down a little bit and he'll get quicker because the more we're running, the more we're doing drills, he's going to get quicker just like I did because I was slow too.
He's a sophomore, right?
Yeah, he's only a sophomore, so he'll.
Got an incredible shot.
Yeah,
too.
He's got a good shot to get going and get more fast and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But,
ended that game last night with a double-double. So
yeah, he's pretty good.
Talk to me about creating all those turnovers. It kind of surprised me from watching you guys last year to this year. I mean, there's a lot of steals and there's a lot of turnovers that you guys are forcing. And what does that kind of do to the game? It just seems like you guys are just, after it.
Yeah, I mean, we're always just trying to force turnovers on defense. That's our goal, and we're trying to get better at scoring off of not just running a play. So that's helping us too, just transition points and stuff like that.
You guys take me through those district games. You beat Berea, and then you beat Model. So what was those kind of games like?
Well, for me, my blood pressure was up all week. I don't know.
That was back to back.
At halftime, I couldn't see straight. I was blurry. I had to go to the concession stand. I had to get a water. I cut line, got a water. I was like, y'all got to give me something to drink at the Berea game because I was just rubbing my eyes. I don't know. But then they won. That's all that matters to me. A win's a win. Mm-hmm. That's what I told them. But, I mean, you can't really do anything besides go out there and play, and what happens, happens. I mean, they won both. That's all that matters. They're 2-0 in the district. So that's all that really matters to me.
The Berea game was packed. If you weren't at the Berea Southern doubleheader games, you missed out. I mean, those were 2 incredible games, and the atmosphere there, both student sections. What was it like to play? Because that's a smaller gym.
Yeah, I mean, it just felt like you was just surrounded by everybody, and I think that's one of the reasons I was cramping too. It was so hot in that gym, but it was awesome. I mean, the atmosphere was crazy, seeing all the people in pretty much Berea there watching you play. It was awesome.
I've talked to some of the players on your team. Like we talked about how good you guys are on defense, offense. But one thing I think the coach and I talked to Hunter the other night. He said the rebounding. How are we going to get the rebounding going? So where do you think that's going to come into play?
Nate's doing a pretty good job, but we just need more people to step up. Like our guards need to help rebounding. I need to get in there and rebound. I mean, I know I'm small, but I still got to do what I can do to rebound. And Hunter had 6 rebounds last night, which is pretty good. And really need Chad to step up rebounding. He's pretty much playing the 5-man when Nate's not in, so we need him to get a lot of rebounds. But he'll get in there and get some.
If Chad could average 6-7 rebounds the rest of the year, I really don't think we'd lose a game, because we're losing games. They're getting offensive rebounds, going back up or getting fouled. And that's really hurting us. But, yeah, Nate's doing a great job. Hunter's starting to chip in a little bit more. Samuel's always been a great rebounder. He's got the hops, and he can go get it. But I really think if Chad can start blocking out and go and get it, he's already a college basketball player. I mean, he's got the offense. He just got to work on his defense and focus on it. What I think he's trying to do, he's just trying to pace himself, like when he gets the defense, because he's like, I got to score.
Right.
But, you just got to go hard, and you just got to, if you need a sub, just tap your head, and you can come back in 30, 45 seconds later. Just get a drink.
Do you think that this team, I personally think that this team is a very good balanced team and instead of previous years. Do you think that it's that way, and why this year?
We have a lot of players this year that we play. I mean, we play like 11 dudes, and they're just stepping up and getting better and better every day. So
yeah, I think it's really balanced. You never know who's going to. Chad's about the only one he's going to have 15 points or so. But, there's usually, it's either Nate, Hunter, it could be Nate, Hunter, Samuel. You never know, honestly, because Colby could have 10 assists, 6 points. You never know, because there's just that one scorer, and then there's everybody else. It's up for grabs. The other teams are like, well, they got 5 people averaging 8 points a game, so we don't know. You know what I'm saying? Anybody could have a good game.
You got a tough stretch coming up. You got Garrett County, and then I think Somerset, right? Gotta go to Somerset.
I think. Oh, we're going to Somerset to play Logan County.
Right.
Yeah.
That just beat Central.
Yeah. Logan County. I've watched some film. They're just good at what they do. They beat Central, I think, 17 or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 17. I think Garrett County wise will be fine if we just run our offense and play our defense how we are. I think we'll win the game pretty good. But Logan County's a really good team. We'll just have to go out there and play and do what we do and see what happens.
Talk to me a little bit about kind of the goals this season for you guys.
The school has never won a region game, so that's something we really want to go after. And then we want to win a district championship, of course, and just keep winning. Really, that's it.
I just want to win games. I wanted to have fun. Having fun, win games, and I always wanted. We won the district championship freshman year, but I was just sitting on the bench. It was fun to be a part of. We won. I don't even know how many games around. We won like 15 out of 16, and then another 5 or 6 in a row. We started out 0-3 that year, and we went out and went 26-6 or something. And I just feel like if we just keep playing hard and keep trying to win and stick with what we're doing, that we win the district championship. And then the way the region is now, we get a home game for the first region game. So if we win that district, I really think we're going to get that first region game.
Now, as older members on the team, you went through a coaching change, right, in your junior years. What's that been like with Austin Newton kind of coming in and taking over? And what's that transition been like?
Butcher was a great guy, but Newton just came in. He knows how you play. He figured out really quick how you play. It wasn't really hard. The only thing that last year it was really hard was going from just a light man-to-man, then we went to that hard man-to-man. And then we just got back to the softer man-to-man. Then I got hurt, so I was like, well, crap. I was like, I didn't get to play the soft man-to-man with him coaching. I didn't know how it was going to be, but it went really. It went really well for me, at least. Let me say that. I'm not going to speak for other people, but it went really well for me, and I think for the team also.
Your fan sections, it's just been so much fun to watch you guys, just watch you play, but your fan section, your pep club has been awesome this year. What's that? And they moved them to right behind the bench. What's that been like?
It's awesome. Last year we really didn't have much of a student section, but this year everybody's coming out to the games, and like when we just make a big play, you hear them, and it helps you. Honestly, it makes you play better. I love it.
Well, I mean, all I get from it's just I just hear the yelling in my ear. I just hear the trash talk and all that. It just makes me laugh. I mean, I'm not out there and playing and stuff. There really wasn't no big student sections last year. I mean, maybe the Central game, Berea game. I think there was a few other games in the districts. I mean, it really wasn't that big. There was just a couple people. So I'm sure it has to help them because, I mean, it gets me pumped sitting over there on the bench, so it has to get them going out there scoring and getting stops. I mean.
Yeah, they've done a really good job. It's just been so fun. I've gotten great pictures from it, so thanks, guys. Yeah. So what's next for you guys as far as what you guys are going to work on and kind of pull together in the middle of the season?
Well, we've kind of struggling right now, so we're just going to go take one game at a time, keep rebounding and keep playing defense and just figure out a way to win. So
yeah, that's the main thing. It's mid-season, 8-7. That's not horrible. I mean, we've played a few hard games, played some close games, played some games we could win, we lost. I mean, we're learning right now. I mean, we're going to be 0-0 in February, so that's all. You just got to keep playing and get ready for that. And I mean, we got to rebound. That's the big factor is rebounding. We got to rebound the ball. We're not going to win games. I told them that too.
I mean, it's pretty impressive. I mean, you were their leading scorer from last year, and then you go down, and then all these guys are going to have to step up. I mean, 8-7 is very respectable.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be hard for. I mean, the step up. I'm really glad Nate stepped up big time. I mean, I think he's averaging almost close to 10 points a game, 7 rebounds a game. I mean, that's pretty good as a sophomore. I didn't average but 5 points a game sophomore year, so he's got big expectations coming ahead for him, I think.
What are they going to do when all the seniors leave?
I mean, Nate's playing well. We got Walter still. Jaden Adams, he's a junior. Mm-hmm. There's a few sophomores like Blake Simpson, and then a few freshmen that can chip in. I mean, it's going to be hard. I'm not going to lie, it's going to be hard for them the next year. But I think Newton can figure it out. They can go 500 next year, I believe. But by Nate's senior season, I believe that they're going to be a really good team.
Excellent. Talk to me a little bit about the Florida. You guys did really, really well down there. I think Hunter said that's been his favorite memory so far. He's just had a really good time.
Yeah, it was a good trip. It was fun. We won 2 out of 3 games, lost in the championship to a really close game. But we played good teams down there, and we ran our offense great. We was just clicking. We was clicking good.
I mean, it was pretty fun for me. I just hung out, basically. I mean, I couldn't get in the water or anything at the beach or the pool or anything. I just hung out, really. And we played very well. We sliced the other teams up. Our offense was clicking. That last game, I about lost my mind, but I held back. I mean, we were in the game. It was a tie ball game. It was our ball with 15 seconds left. And, I mean, we just went to the basket, and they stripped us, apparently. But I believe Chad got fouled, but I ain't going to get started on that. But it was a fun trip. I mean, I'll never forget that trip because we won them first 2 games, and we played well. We played well the last game. We just couldn't finish it. And that's the thing. We got to finish games. If we can finish games, we'll be a really good team.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys for being here. Good luck on the rest of your season. Like I said, I've really enjoyed it. It's been a pleasure watching you guys and just being able to be a part of it and see how everybody's kind of stepping up and filling your shoes. And I love watching you on the bench. I think I've got I've never published any, but I've got some really good pictures of you. I think right when you had just gotten out of your surgery, I think you were almost going to jump with your crutches.
Yeah, I mean, you can send them to Newton. I might post them or something.
But yeah, it's been great and good luck. And thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
The Richmond Register Sports Show is brought to you by Nuevo Vallarta, a neighborhood restaurant with indoor and patio seating, a family-friendly environment, and quality, authentic Mexican food at reasonable prices. Nuevo Vallarta. Do you want to advertise on the Richmond Register Sports Show? Now you can. Contact us now at sports@richmondregister.com or message us on Facebook today. If it's sports in Madison County, we cover it. Advertise now on the Richmond Register Sports Show in Madison County.
Almost 2 decades. That's right, I've covered local sports in Madison County for almost 2 decades. The Madison Central Indians, the Madison Southern Eagles, the Model Patriots, the Berea Pirates, the EKU Colonels, and the Berea College Mountaineers. I've covered them all. Football, basketball, baseball, softball, volleyball, track, cheerleading, golf, youth sports, and more. It's all being covered by the Richmond Register. Join us for a brand new weekly sports program. Watch the Richmond Register Sports Show every Thursday at 9 p.m. Be sure to like, share, and follow us on all our social networks and to subscribe to the Richmond Register online or get your own subscription delivered. If it's sports in Madison County, we cover it.